Borgo Santo Pietro is a Tuscan heaven hidden amidst the hills. With a history dating back to the 13th century, when the main villa was initially built. Fully restored after the current owners bought it some 20 years ago, this is the perfect place to connect with the history and tradition of the Tuscan countryside. We made an early check-in, and while the team was preparing our room, we went for lunch at La Trattoria sull'Albero, a cabin-like restaurant built around an ancient oak tree that was not only preserved but made a central feature of the space. It is beautifully decorated in a rustic style, featuring elements that evoke the green and brown tones of the Tuscan landscape. The wide open views to the vineyards and the menu composed of classic Tuscan cuisine, using almost exclusively ingredients organically grown at the property, make the whole experience feel so quintessentially Tuscan. We enjoyed a light pasta lunch while the weather outside was still a bit indecisive on whether to rain or to let the sun shine. By the time we finished though, the skies were clear, which made for the perfect opportunity to explore the gardens around the Trattoria and the main villa. Its views to the hills, and its many little corners with water features, the guests shared swimming pool, the picturesque ice cream hut where you can get a refreshing cup of goodness any time of the day. And its many fountains and seating areas. The wisterias were in full bloom, beautifully cascading from the main villa walls. We then made our way to our room, or actually to our villa, with its own private backyard and swimming pool. Just a walk there along the narrow paths winding through the perfectly landscaped gardens was a dream already. The villa we slept in is a newly built structure made after the renovations of the main villa were completed. However, it does feel like it has been there for centuries, with an architecture that fully resembles that of the main villa and the smooth classic decoration. As the weather was once again turning, we lit the fireplace and sat down unwrapping the beautiful gifts left by the owners and their team. The whole villa is very spacious, and the smooth tones really create a very welcoming ambience. When the sun shines through the tall windows, the whole space gains a new life, with the shadows of the ivies and tree branches swaying gently across the floors and walls, bringing an ever-present sense of nature indoors. The backyard is very private, but does not feel enclosed at all, as you get a feeling of being surrounded by nothing but vegetation. The swimming pool is a perfect relaxation spot, especially on a hot Tuscan summer afternoon. After settling in, we were taken around for a tour of the estate. With over 300 acres of farmland, this is where most of the fruits, the vegetables, the meats and dairy that are used in Borgo Santo Pietro's two restaurants are grown or raised. It is also here that they keep a flock of sheep from which they collect milk that is later turned into cheese, but that is also used as a central ingredient in their seed to skin skincare body range. One of my favorite moments was meeting this little fellow and feeding him some of his favorite grass. The other alpacas weren't too bothered with our presence, so I had more of a private date with this nice youngster. Their chickens live freely with the rabbits, and in the morning the eggs are collected as fresh as you can get them for breakfast. In a couple of greenhouses, edible flowers and vegetables are grown according to the chef's menu design. Right next to these stands a picturesque wooden house overlooking the tranquil landscape. This is where all the flowers are brought to produce the essential oils used in their skincare brand. It is also here that they hold workshops on herbal medicine a couple times a year. Our next stop took us to the atelier where they make their own chocolate goodies. These are mixed with ingredients from the farm, such as honey, herbs, or nuts, and are absolutely delicious. We also had the chance to eat an incredibly creamy hazelnut ice cream, just freshly made. Our final stop on our tour was the fermentation lab, where Raffaele, their fermentation master, showed us his experiments with leaves, berries, and fruits to create unique flavor profiles. We tried a few there, and later, at dinner time in Saporium, some of the dishes had these very same flavors, making it a full circle experience through the flavors that were grown at the Borgo, cooked at the Borgo, and eaten at the Borgo. We had the rest of the afternoon free to explore the gardens of Borgo Santo Pietro. The weather was now beautiful, and we took a bike and went to the Borgo Lake. We sat by the lake margins, just contemplating its beauty, surrounded by lush green vegetation, a small bridge adorned with fully blossoming wisterias hanging above the still surface of the lake, and the gurgly sound of water, creating the perfect soundtrack to this very quiet piece of heaven. As the afternoon came to an end, we got back to our villa and relaxed by the pool before getting ready for dinner at the Michelin Green Star Saporium. Unfortunately, the weather wasn't warm enough yet for dinner at the terrace, so we ate inside. You can choose between three different menus, each dedicated to fish, meat, or vegetables, but all sharing a true farm to plate philosophy across all dishes, with the freshest and most organic ingredients. And that wrapped the day in perfection. We had a beautiful sunrise for our second day at Borgo Santo Pietro. While the weather was still a bit chilly, the bright skies invited for an early breakfast outside, admiring the Tuscan landscape. This is the same outdoors area where you can have dinner at Saporium in summer and warm evenings, and it is such a picture-perfect place for a slow meal. As you would expect, you have a vast choice of the freshest organic fruits and vegetables, as well as fresh pastries and bread, and eggs just collected a few minutes earlier, cooked then to your preference. My first activity for the day was a yoga class. On my way there, I took my time savoring the fresh morning air, admiring the luxurious garden, and making friends with a beautiful full-time resident of this piece of heaven. After yoga and some relaxation time, it was time to learn the secrets of Tuscan pasta making with a hands-on class with Rafaela. We were greeted at her beautiful kitchen with a bottle of sparkling wine and a few cheeses from the farm, and then it was time to roll up the sleeves and get to cooking three types of pasta. Our lunch depended very much on this. In this class, I was guided through the whole process of making fresh pasta, which is something so simple to learn and with a little experience can really elevate your home cooking skills. This was complemented with a couple recipes for sauces and fillings for a most Italian lunch. Once the cooking was done, we sat outside enjoying our lunch with views of the Borgo farm. The afternoon was reserved for full relaxation and kicked off with an 1 hour bespoke facial massage using the skincare products from their own brand, Seed to Skin. All the while, the team prepared the bath ritual with fresh flowers from the garden in the beautiful standalone bathtub in our bedroom with views to the private villa garden and pool. When the night sky started to cast its embrace over the Tuscan hills, we made our way back to the Trattoria sull'Albero for a farmer's market dinner. This is an experience with live gentle music playing, candles lit, the fire roaring in the fireplace, and all the while we delighted in the Tuscan most traditional and homey food, while the day waned and the landscape sank into the darkness.